What's up, everybody? It's Brandon again, and in our last video we covered how to look at a property and how to go through it. Right now we're going to cover exactly what things cost and how I use these rough calculations to kind of give me an idea of when I'm doing my bidding or trying to figure out what price I should offer on a property. So rough order of magnitude, or I like to call it, is what is a commonly used term in the construction industry. And if you use it, then you're going to sound like you know what you're doing, especially in front of contractors when you ask them for what their ROM is, right? So here we go. So we talked about last time how to go through the property and looking at things. Now, as you're going through the house or walking around the outside, you want to make sure that you create a list of items that you see that is broken or needs to be replaced or needs to be fixed, right? So let's say you go on the outside and you look and see whether or not the landscaping is a little bit off, and maybe you need to replace some siding, maybe you need to redo the roof, that kind of thing. And again, these are just numbers that I've been used to, and it doesn't mean that you're going to pay these prices, but it at least gives you a better idea of how I think through these things, so that you could get these prices too from your contractors that you work with, to give you a better better idea of how to estimate these things, right? So roofing on a townhouse, generally I estimate about $10K. Reason for that is because that's what I've spent in our area. Siding, again, probably another $10,000. Landscaping could be expensive, right? For just basic grass cutting and mulching and whatnot, I would expect to pay $2,000 to $3,000, right? Depending on the size of the property. As you're going through the house, windows, generally I estimate about $1,000 per window. If a window is required to be replaced, and that's generally installed price, and it's very conservative. It could be way less than that, but again, it just depends on the caliber of project that you're doing, where it's located, that kind of stuff. As you're going through the house, and again, starting from the basement up, you're going to want to start estimating bathrooms and floors and stuff like that. Now, typically what I see when renovating floors is you're going to spend about $5 to $8 a square foot for carpet, for hardwood floors or laminate or whatever it might be. It generally ranges from $5 to $8 a square foot installed. As you're going through the bathroom, if the bathroom needs to be fully renovated, we generally pay about $12,000 to $15,000 to renovate the bathroom. As you're going through the kitchen, again, depending on what size the kitchen is, a small kitchen is going to be about, $30,000, $20,000. A medium-sized kitchen will be closer to $50,000, and a large kitchen to luxury kitchens are going to be, could be well over that, especially depending on the size of the property. It could be, $150,000, $200,000 in the kitchen. And again, you want to kind of make sure that you have those three prices for everything that you're doing, because you want to know if you should go low end, medium, or high end, right? Because prices matter, especially if you're doing a flip or if you're renting it to a luxury renter or a luxury buyer versus someone who is, on the low end of the scale, like maybe it's a property somewhere in the middle of Alabama that, it's you're renovating a trailer or something like that, right? So essentially you want to make sure that you're keeping that in mind when you're doing these bidding projects, and you don't want to estimate on the low end for a luxury property, and vice versa. You don't want to estimate on the high end for just a property, again, in the middle of nowhere, right? So essentially, one of the things that, as you're going through, again, that was kitchens, flooring, bathrooms, you're going to want to go up and look at the bedrooms and fixtures, right? So I make a list of fixtures that you would need, how many light fixtures, how many doorknobs, or maybe it's like hinges or whatever you might need, because fixtures add up, okay? They really do add up. So what I would do is go ahead and have your interior designer. For me, it's my wife. Sometimes I have strong says on things, but generally it's all her, because she's able to find great prices and kind of make sure everything is cohesive. And sometimes, again, I have strong opinions on certain things, and I'll be like, look, I want that. And then she'll find things that kind of like just looks good with that thing that I like, right? And they're nothing too crazy, but certain things that I'm very passionate about. Anyway, so essentially, as you're going through, you're making a list of things of what you need to charge, right? So again, like what I estimate a bathroom to be is 12 to 15,000, kitchen about anywhere from 20 to 100,000. Again, depending on the size and the caliber of property you're doing, and then floors, right? Those are going to be your main thing as well as on the outside. And then I add about 20% extra on top of that because there are going to be stuff unforeseen that you don't know that's behind the walls. Minor electrical, minor plumbing stuff. Maybe you got to replace a little bit of the subfloor, right? So you always want to make sure that you are adding on a ton of extra for the properties. And again, like this, I don't expect this video to make you guys a construction expert. However, it can give you an idea of how I think through the property and how I go estimate these things, at just rough calculation. Another method that I typically use too for new construction is price per square foot, right? So let's say you gotta do an addition on a property. Generally, like price per square foot is gonna have a number in your area, right? So in my area, price per square foot is about $200 a square foot, 250 again for more higher end luxury properties. So I would just do a square foot calculation just to double check and say, okay, am I on point? Am I on target kind of thing? For a renovation project, again, it could range anywhere from usually around like $80 to $120 for a medium grade project. But that's kind of like how I do it, just to kind of double check and see, hey, am I too high? Am I too low? Again, give yourself plenty of buffer because there's always things that come up with construction. It is construction. You're going to have issues and you have to be okay with that. So there you have it. That's how I estimate projects, and I hope this video is helpful to you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Again, thank you so much for joining this challenge. We look forward to creating wealth with you guys and serving you guys at the highest level ever. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.